Good afternoon. Travis Baker, Calgary General Investigations Unit. Just be reading a pre-written statement and then answer any questions you folks have. I'm the staff sergeant, by the way, over in the General Investigations Unit. One man remains in critical but stable condition following a shooting early this morning in Mount Royal. At approximately 8:05 a.m., we were called to the 2200 block of 7th Street Southwest for reports of a shooting. Upon arrival, a man in his 40s was located injured inside a vehicle and was taken to hospital in serious condition. Officers immediately flooded the area and began gathering information about suspect descriptions in any vehicle that was possibly involved. Shortly after, at approximately 8:10 a.m., a vehicle fire was reported a few blocks away from the shooting in the 3800 block of 7th Street Southwest. It is not yet known if this incident or the vehicle involved is connected to the shooting. However, investigators are looking at all possibilities. By the nature of this attack, it is believed to be targeted. However, an exact motive is not known at this time. The victim's name will not be released. The only description of the suspect available at this time is that of a male wearing a bright orange jacket. Anyone who may have been in the area at the time or who may have information about this incident is asked to call Crime Stoppers or contact the police directly. And I'll answer any questions you might have.
How concerning is it for you that this happened during the daylight in a very affluent neighborhood, right out in the middle, shots ring out, and other people could have gotten seriously hurt?
Well, certainly it's a very serious concern for the Calgary Police Service and I believe the citizens of Calgary. When there's shooting in any neighborhood in Calgary, it doesn't matter if it's an affluent neighborhood or not. Very concerning. Time of day certainly is a major concern. At 8 o'clock in the morning, a lot of people are out in the street and walking around, so we do take this very, very seriously.
Do you have a motive to lead you to believe that this was a targeted attack?
We believe that it was targeted. However, at this time, I wouldn't want to speculate on a motive.
What makes you think it was targeted?
I don't want to go into details of the investigation at this point, but it does, from our standpoint, look very specific. So, as I said, I don't want to go into all the details, but we do believe that targeted, but like I say, we're not going to go into a whole pile more than that.
How many suspects are you looking for?
At this point, at least one male individual.
And is he connected to the car that was on fire?
We don't know that, as I mentioned before. It's certainly suspicious that there was a vehicle fire a short distance away.
How many blocks is that?
I believe it's 14 blocks, so it's not very far away. The time is pretty consistent with the fact that the shooting occurred and then shortly thereafter there was the vehicle fire reported. So we're certainly looking into both of them with the strong suspicion that maybe they're connected, but we can't confirm that at this point.
What kind of
We've
car
heard that
was
the
it that
vehicle
was on
burned
fire?
down was a stolen vehicle. Can you confirm that?
I can't confirm that yet. Don't know all the details of it yet. Arson is looking at that side of it, but they're working hand in hand with us. So I should know shortly, but I don't have the information right now.
What was the nature of the original call that came into police?
Shots fired. It was a call, multiple sources called in and said that there were gunshots.
And do you have any witness reports seeing the white SUV at that scene specifically?
No, not yet. We're certainly canvassing the area and we're hoping that anybody that has information and may have saw a vehicle, any vehicle, in the area, leaving the area at a high rate of speed, anything like that, please come forward and provide us with that information. That would be very helpful.
How were witnesses describing the gunshots? Like a hail of gunfire, lots of bullets? Or?
The best we have so far is multiple shots fired. I couldn't speculate on how many. These situations, quite often it's very difficult for people to remember how many shots were actually fired, but I can say that it was multiple.
And the car on fire, this was a white SUV that was on?
I believe so, yes. I've seen photos of the vehicle that was burnt, and it is a small white sport utility. I couldn't give you the make of the model.
So, can you confirm it's a Lexus?
No, again, I can't give you a make or model.
What can you say about damage to the front end of the Rolls Royce and any damage that may correlate with the Hyundai that was found in the fire?
So if it was a Hyundai, I don't know. I couldn't speculate on that. I don't know. As to the damage of the front of the vehicle, we believe that was a result of the victim hitting the gas pedal and running into a stationary object. I believe it was a barricade of some sort that the vehicle crashed into. So any speculation that the vehicle had rammed the vehicle, I don't believe is true at this point. We don't have any indication of that whatsoever, and we believe that the car actually hit a stationary object.
And about the fire, would it be plausible that someone was trying to conceal or erase evidence by setting a vehicle that was used? Basically, if it's connected, is that something you would look at?
If we certainly are looking at it. That's why we have arson involved. It would be a very valid way to destroy evidence, absolutely. That doesn't mean that it's connected to this shooting. However, it certainly would be a reasonable way to get rid of evidence, absolutely.
In terms of the, I know there's only so much you can tell us about the victim, but what happens next with the investigation? Are you going to be looking at business interests if you believe this is targeted? Family? What are you looking for, people who have done business with him, or what are you looking at?
Well, we'll certainly explore all avenues. Business, if this is business related, we would certainly be exploring those things. We'll be looking at all different kinds of motives. That being said, investigation is very early on. We're only 6 hours in. We're learning details very fast, but like I say, we were really hoping that the public will come forward with any information they might have that'll assist us, but we're still at the hospital and we're still at the scene looking into things. So.
Can you narrow it down in terms of what you would be looking to the public from, in terms of, I mean,
any descriptions
I saw him
of
at the grocery store, or
it's a fairly quiet neighborhood down there, so we would hope that the people recognize their neighbors and know who should and should not be in the neighborhood. Obviously, this person appears to be somebody that shouldn't be in the neighborhood. A bright orange jacket should stand out. We're hoping that somebody will recognize that. Any vehicles that might have been in the area that don't look like they belong certainly would be of interest to us.
I mean, are there any other details about the suspect? I mean, someone could take off a jacket, right? I mean, there's no ethnicity, age, height, anything like that?
Nothing other than a male orange jacket.
Was the victim the only person in the vehicle?
I don't want to get into details of that. There was more than one person in the vehicle, but obviously for investigative reasons, I don't want to get into any of the details about how many people were in the vehicle.
Is the victim able to offer any evidence? Is he able
The
to
victim
speak up?
is stable and he is conscious.
Is he speaking to the investigators?
He is speaking to the investigators.
Does he know who the people are that attacked him?
Even if I knew that, I wouldn't give that to you, I'm afraid. But he certainly is speaking to us, and he is stable right now. Very serious injuries, as you can well imagine, but he is speaking to us.
Where are the injuries?
Obviously, there were multiple shots fired. So as to his medical condition and where those injuries are, I don't want to get into it. I can tell you that he is stable at this point.
Any other questions?
Yeah, was he, the victim, was he in the back seat or in the driver's seat?
Front seat, driver's seat.
So,
and that person you can tell us about that was in the vehicle, they weren't injured at all?
No, he's the only person that's been injured so far.
Male or female that was with him, or can you say?
I don't want to get into any details about who the person is.
the owner of the home is named in a number of fairly high-profile law.
The owner of which home?
The home outside of which this occurred. So I'm just wondering what, if anything that does in terms of the investigation moving forward, and is that driving part of your investigation?
I didn't list a home. So as to which home you're speaking of, I don't know. I know on the street where this occurred. So if there is a residence listed, it didn't come from me. So I'm not going to answer that question.
Are you looking into business or investment deals that may have gone sour as a possible motive for this?
As I answered before, we're looking into all situations. If they're business related, very well could be, maybe not, we don't know. But until we've looked at the investigation completely, figure out what a motive is and who a possible offender is, then we'll have more information. But at this point, like I say, we're 6 hours into it. So we're still picking up the pieces and trying to get everything coordinated.
Was the second person in the vehicle related to the person who was injured?
I'm still not going to get into that. I'm afraid I'm not going to list who was in the car.
Was the second person in the car an adult or a child?
Okay, I think we're gonna wrap it up
Yeah.
here. One more question.
Sure.
Are there people still at the house where the victim may have came from?
People?
Like, I guess, when the victim left his house that day, wherever the house was, are there people at the residence that are related to him that might be, are they concerned for their safety?
We have police at the hospital and we have police at the residence right now. So again, I don't want to speculate as to who's in the home right now. I haven't been there myself. So it'd be invalid for me to actually make speculation, but we do have police officers at both scenes, so.
Is the public in danger at all?
Well, the public is always, when one of these situations happens, we have some serious concerns for the safety of the public, of course. This happened in a street in Calgary, and we take that very, very seriously. That being said, earlier I mentioned that we believe it is targeted, so we think that the shooter definitely knew where he was and who he was going after. So in general, I would say that no, the public doesn't need to be worried about this situation, other than the fact that it happened on a public street in Calgary, and that's always dangerous. So,
Was the victim known to police?
no.
Just to be clear, when you say a targeted attack,
Yes.
do you mean that the person who was injured was the target of the attack?
I believe that the attack itself was targeted. So as to whether he is the targeted victim, I can't speculate. I don't know what the motive was at this point, but we believe that the shooter knew exactly where he was and what he was doing.
Thank you all.
Thank you.